Hello everybody, I hope you're all well. So today's video is going to be all about why men hate women still. They never stopped. From the title, this video does sound like it's going to be very antagonizing, and it kind of is. I'm mostly going to be talking about modern forms of misogyny in the 21st century and why we do still need feminism. Unfortunately, a lot of people are under the impression, both men and women, that we don't need feminism anymore. That feminism is basically rendered useless in the 21st century because of how far women's rights have come. But I want to debunk this myth and just set a few points, and this is literally just a few out of many, of why we do still need feminism in the 21st century. And I am more than aware that women's rights have come forward absolute leaps and bounds in this country. I am very grateful and fortunate to live in a country where women's rights have progressed so much compared to other countries. But just because women's rights have progressed so much in this country doesn't mean we could not and should not point out problems which still exist within the patriarchy. And I am also more than aware that this does not apply to every single man that exists. But I think not only just in men but in women as well, in all of us really, misogyny has been so ingrained into our heads from such a young age that it is really difficult to unlearn misogynistic habits. Even I still to this day find myself being internally misogynistic. And I do think most women will agree with me on this point, that in my whole lifetime, my whole 22 years of being alive on this planet, I have only met 3 straight men who aren't misogynistic in any way, I don't think. Which has always confused me, because isn't the whole point of being a straight man that you're meant to like women? So that is what I'm going to be doing in today's video. I'm going to be talking about how misogyny manifests itself in different ways in the 21st century, and how a lot of people tend to not notice that it's misogyny. I've got 4 examples that I'm using today. There is also going to be a part 2 to this video where I'm talking all about internalized misogyny, so if you aren't subscribed, make sure you are so you don't miss the second part. So the first example we have is slut shaming. This is not anything new, this has been spoken about before. Everyone knows that there is a huge double standard when it comes to promiscuity in men versus promiscuity in women. We've all heard of it before, but I am just going to quickly explain it for the sake of this video. Basically, when a man is promiscuous and sleeps around, they are seen as a stud and a player, and in particular they are seen as extremely masculine by other men. And meanwhile, if a woman is promiscuous and sleeps around, they are seen as a slut or whore, in some cases even dirty, used goods. Guys don't want to go there with a girl that's easy, etc. And already we can see how these double standards can actually be harmful towards men as well, because so many men, a majority of men I think, put their self-value into how much sex they have and how much women find them attractive, because there is this huge pressure to get laid and be sexually active. And for men that don't have a lot of sex and aren't very sexually active, it can lead to very low self-esteem and a very warped perception of themselves. I'm pretty convinced that this whole the more women you sleep with, the more masculine you are, I am pretty sure led to the whole incel movement and that big steaming hot pile of shit that I will cover another day. Now don't get me wrong, there are actually people out there who are turned off by men who are particularly promiscuous or sleep around or very sexually active, but it really isn't that many, especially compared to how many men are turned off by women who are very sexually active and promiscuous. Sorry, quick break, I had to take my clips out because they were making my forehead look absolutely gigantic. Anyways, I know so many women who would happily date men with high body counts, and they genuinely do not care. I know girls in my personal life whose boyfriends' body counts are 100 plus, and they literally did not care, or the only part they cared about was that they would get the beat and delete treatment.
Damn.
And as I said earlier,